So superannuation, as I mentioned, is an extremely tax-effective investment structure with only one main downside, and that's that you need to wait until at least age 60 to access it. It should be the cornerstone of any good retirement. Now, ask yourself, is your super fund performing, or do you even know if it is performing relative to a similar benchmark? Next, is your super fund cost effective and or value for money? So it doesn't necessarily have to be the cheapest super fund. For instance, some clients might have a self-managed super fund, which is by no means a cheap way to do it, but it could provide value for money by allowing the different types of investments that those clients want. Next, is your asset allocation right for your investment timeframe, which we'll talk to later on? And are you making additional contributions where possible? So let's talk about some of the different superannuation account types. So for most of us, we have superannuation accumulation accounts. These accounts are ones that receive contributions from your employer. The earnings are taxed at 15%, and contributions that are concessional are also taxed at 15% on the way in. These accumulation accounts are typically then converted to a transition to retirement or account-based pension from age 60. However, the important thing to note is most super funds don't proactively contact clients to actually get them to switch over. So let's say you retire and you don't transition your accumulation account to one of those pension accounts, then your earnings are still going to be getting taxed at 15%, even if you're well into retirement phase. So you do need to elect to transfer them over. Now, a transition to retirement pension is available from age 60, and it can pay you a tax-free income stream, which is really good, but only up to 10% of the balance. So that's one of the eligibility criteria, is that it can't pay more than 10% of the balance each year. The earnings are still taxed at 15%, so there's no tax benefit on the earnings relative to an accumulation account. And these accounts automatically convert to an account-based pension at age 65. So account-based pensions have some added benefits over transition to retirement benefits. So firstly, all the earnings are now tax-free. The withdrawals are still tax-free, the same as the TTR pension, but there's also now no restriction on the amount that you can withdraw. So you can withdraw 100% of the balance if you wanted to, but it's very rarely recommended because you want to keep as much in that tax-effective environment of a pension account as possible. Because it's so tax effective, there is a maximum of $1.9 million that you can have in these account-based pensions. And any overflow you can have in an accumulation account, and it's likely going to be up to that $3 million cap, which is currently going through Parliament. And then after that, there's an additional proposed 15% tax on earnings above $3 million. But not sure if that's going to get in because it is quite unpopular. And it's also got some issues around the treatment of unrealized capital gains. So that's a wait and see on that one. Lastly, defined benefits. So these are quite rare these days. Typically some government departments, so emergency services, police force, things of that nature. Now, defined benefits are usually on a like-for-like basis, a lot better than accumulation accounts. With accumulation accounts, we all bear the risk of the investment markets and the ups and downs that we get each year. Whereas with a defined benefit, the balance is determined by a specific formula. So quite often it's things like average final salary times years of service times a particular multiple. So there's no investment risk that account has, and the formulas are also quite generous in the relative rate of return. With those defined benefits, you often then do get a choice at retirement, which can be to create a pension account with that defined benefit provider, or it could be to roll it over to another superannuation account, or take a lump sum, or a combination of both. And that's where we often do the numbers behind which is the best investment decision for you.